I see Katie's in the chat already.
Yep.
In case you guys didn't know. Let's see that. Let me add to broadcast. I have to sit a little further back from the screen than I usually do when I got Katie here, so I have to use my glasses now.
You can scoot closer if you want.
No, it's okay. It's a good position. Robert Warist says he just became a member. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. I don't have a whole lot in the members area right now, but you're encouraging me to start doing that. Mostly what I got there is videos that I wasn't sure about, so I put them in the members only area because I didn't really want to hide anything, but I also, when I have some questions about stuff, sometimes I pull it out from public view until I know better. But I don't ever like to hide anything. I want everything to be available out there, so I put it in the members area. 21 people liked the video before we even got here. Man, it's such a nice thing to be a part of this community of people that are trying to make each other healthier and happier. Julie Atkins says hello from North Carolina. Tracy Kinzel, hi CV friends, carnivore friends. Sandy Blythe is here from North Florida. Ron Ayers is here. Karin Yoily from Kissimmee. Let's see, Robert is in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Carnivore Junkies in Gilchrist, Texas. Jeff Schellemeyer. Steaks equals cakes guy. He's always there for me. I appreciate you. And he's in, what does that say? Dubuque? Is that how you pronounce that? Gosh, it's been a long time since I've even thought about pronouncing that name of that city. Dubuque, Iowa, is that right?
LA, Louisiana, I believe.
Oh, is that I thought it was IA.
Maybe.
Louis Lotito is here from Healing Humanity. One of the members there.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. This is what she's responding to. Tina's here from Vermont. North Dakota Carnivores here. Viking Loves Jesus is here from New Jersey. Jiffy's here from Georgia. Lewis is in New York City. Ron Ayers in Jacksonville. What we got? Oh my goodness. Tasmania, Australia. Benjamin Kemp. So we got folks all around the world today. What a surprise to have folks here. It's nice to see so many people coming in and join in. Well, I guess we could talk about the challenges this week because I know you had a trip out of town. Katie had a wonderful time at her tournament. For those of you who are aware that she does Taekwondo with ATA, and she went up to North Carolina this week and competed in a contest up there. And why don't you tell them how everything went?
It went good. Julie said she's from North Carolina. I wonder if she's experienced what I did when I arrived. So we got there late Friday night, and Saturday morning when we woke up, I couldn't breathe. My throat felt like it was tightening, and it was hurting so bad. We went outside, and there was a film of yellow pollen about
Don't even need that mic.
half an inch thick on the car. I was wondering if that's what it was. I've never had serious allergies before, but it was pretty awful. So, but I did good. We did good. On diet-wise, I did great up until Saturday afternoon. I had...
Start with what you did right. How did you do it right to begin with? What was the part that carried you through that far?
Well, I brought some food with me. I brought steak with me, and I brought a bunch of eggs. But I ate them. They were gone. I'm done. We did stop at a Fuddruckers. My first time ever eating at a Fuddruckers. And it was delicious. Because you can get a giant beef patty as big as you want. And then I got the hangover burger, which had bacon and eggs on it. And I just asked for no bun, just to be polite. And they said, no problem. The guy brought me up my food. He goes, you want one of those low carb things? I said something like that. And he goes, oh, awesome. It was delicious. And then the following morning, I did fine. I had some beef jerky I had left over and some chicken salad. And then we had eggs. So Chick-fil-A has a grilled chicken biscuit, and I had grilled chicken with egg, but it just wasn't enough. On tournament days, I realized I have to have a lot of calories because I'm up at 5:30. I'm running, traveling, helping out, carrying a lot of weight. So I have to be more prepared. I was faint and lightheaded by 12 o'clock. So that's when I broke, and I got a protein bar from my friend and a couple other little snacky things that were definitely not on the list. And then at dinner, I just ate whatever I could because I was so hungry and so lightheaded. So, but I did good up till then. It's just figuring out the traveling process and yeah, just figuring out how to travel.
What'd you learn from it? What do you think you'll do the next time?
Well, hopefully, if this happens again, I like it when we got the Airbnb. Because when we had the Airbnb, I woke up that morning. Remember that video I shared with you? I made a steak and a big giant plate of eggs, and that filled me for a lot of the day, the tournament day. But I just gonna have to bring more food. I'm gonna have to bring more eggs, or maybe a carnivore bar or carnivore crisp. I'm gonna have to take some of your stash because I have to have something. You just get too lightheaded. And then you're anxious and you're stressed. You're about to compete. It's just a lot. Yeah. So, but then I got right back on it when I got home. So, you know.
Jiffy says, Katie, it ain't easy being needy in a high carb world. I get it.
Yes. Yes. It was, it's a lot. So my heart goes out to people who travel for work and do this. It's a struggle.
Yeah. Well, I've done videos talking about how when we would travel in the past, I would take the air fryer with me. I'd take steaks with me because I usually buy my steaks in bulk when they're on sale. And that makes things a lot easier no matter what, because that's the at least expensive way. I mean, geez, I usually pay as much for steak, a little more for steak than I usually do for burger. So if you time it right and you buy them in enough quantities, you can do that. And then when you go traveling, you don't have to worry about paying double a lot of times because you're in a city where the prices are higher. I noticed the prices were really high when we went to Austin and to Miami. The prices for meat were a lot higher down there than they were here.
Ron Ayers said purse bacon.
Purse bacon. Yeah, I gotta have some purse bacon.
Hey, I'm doing that next time. I'll do it. I'll buy a huge giant gallon size Ziploc baggies and just fill it full of bacon because you gotta have something.
Yeah.
It's just too many calories and too much energy you're pushing out to not constantly eat.
But those times I've taken an air fryer with me, I remember way back when I had the first Power XL air fryer, and we were in that hotel down in where was it, Miami?
And he set the alarm off.
Yeah. Yeah, the alarm went off for the smoke alarm, but thankfully it was a localized. It was just that one room, and it was just a regular old smoke alarm. It wasn't something like connected to the system that set the whole hotel off. But that's one thing you got to be careful of if you're traveling and using an air fryer.
Natural Ginger, have you tried eating raw? No. When we do eat liver, we do it very lightly seared, very lightly, just and then we eat it. But no, I've never tried it raw, or my meat raw. I couldn't do that. I know some people can, and they thoroughly enjoy it, and that's great. But I don't think I could chew it.
She said raw liver was horrible. A lot of people say raw liver is the only way to eat it. So I've wondered about that, but I will say that I like it extra rare. I mean, like a minute and a half on each side is all I do, and just a little salt, and that's all I want. Now, I don't eat a lot of liver. I eat less than the amount of liver that I would get if I ate a whole cow, because I buy whole cows occasionally, probably on average twice a year over the past 4 years.
Yeah, we can afford it. Usually get half.
Yeah. Uh, well, I mean, I've had a whole cow a few times. We've gotten half before also.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I can go through 2 cows easily. But a lot of the meat that I buy is supplemented at the grocery store, like when Publix runs their specials at Christmas and Easter and Labor Day each year. They're usually the best specials. Now they've been sporadic on doing that. Like only did it Christmas last year, and I'm afraid they're only going to do it Christmas this year. Easter's coming up real soon, and I'm counting on them running a good special because my freezer stock is getting low. But well, how did we get talking about meat prices? I was talking about traveling with.
Because they're always on your mind.
Yeah, meat prices are always on your mind. Well,
Jeff says that he likes his liver raw and frozen. Other way.
Raw and frozen. Interesting.
Is that like an
just crunch it
Alive?
up?
Where they just like took a sliver and then they just ate it? That's what it reminds me of. I have to try it. I would do it. I would try it.
Yeah, I would try it. I wouldn't mind trying it.
But I don't know. But it seems like the texture would be easier to handle.
Well, there was a time I wouldn't touch liver. I mean, liver was like top 3 of my things in the world that I just did not want in my body or touching me or anything. Yeah. And now it's something I do enjoy. But if it's overcooked, it brings that flavor back. It's like this chalky thing in the back of your throat that just stays there. It's like an aftertaste that won't go away when you overcook liver.
Frozen liver cubes, but my body was not fooled. Natural ginger. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So does anybody have any questions about any of the videos that came out this week? I know I kind of made a bit of a stir with my RFK video where I was covering that, because of course when you talk about anything that involves Trump or his team, then it's going to stir up controversy. But I was just glad to see that somebody on the national scene in such a high position mentioned the carnivore diet. That was probably the biggest thing that I loved hearing, is that it's entering the general American lexicon so much more. That means people are going to start asking, what is it? And there's a lot of people who desperately need the healing of it. There's a lot of people who could do fine without it for a long time. But I always get this comment about, well, what's going to happen when everybody goes carnivore? And I say, that's never going to happen. Nobody's ever going to all do one thing. And I'm not saying everybody should do one thing, but I'm saying if you're sick with any of these autoimmune disorders, or if you've had any of the problems that a lot of people complain about when it comes to the results of the standard American diet, or even trying to stay healthy. This is another thing. Some people will say, why do you compare it to the standard American diet? That's what's wrong with the world. Well, the standard American diet includes a lot of diet food, stuff that's supposed to be good for you. But then when you dig down deep into it, it's not really good for you. And then it's like, well, geez, I was trying to eat healthy, but I was being misled about everything. And that's what's so frustrating. But another thing that I've heard a lot of people say, that like they're not happy because RFK hasn't done anything about beef prices, but the secretary of the HHS is not over the USDA. So that was one thing I wanted to comment, if anybody had any questions about that, is that's Brooke Rollins is the new Secretary of Agriculture. So that's the head of the USDA. That's the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And I know that she stands with Bobby Kennedy on his platform. She hasn't really outlined exactly what she's going to do. I'd like to see that. I would certainly like to see her removing some of the roadblocks for new entry into the cattle market, and for young ranchers and people who want to get into the ranching industry. It's a pretty formidable entry barrier, because they have to have facilities that will house the USDA on their property, and there's a lot of expense in that major companies can absorb that small companies can't, and a lot of these family ventures aren't able to get started without a lot of credit and borrowing money about and things like that. So it's already expensive enough without them creating extra barriers to entry that only these major corporations can afford to do. So that's what I would like to see. If anybody wanted to encourage Brooke Rollins in the right direction as the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, I would certainly ask her to remove the barriers for entry that are making it hard for young families to get into this. Now, Brooke comes from Texas, and she comes from a rural background, so she should have some close roots to this kind of thing, where big ag has taken over so much of this stuff, but a lot of the family small farmers are still, trying to hang on out there, and we'd like to see more of them enter the marketplace. As a lot of people also talk about on the video, where what's going to happen when all these people eating carnivore drive up the food prices. Well, one of the things that I like to point out is that in a free market, demand creates supply, and that's one of the reasons we've got to free up the agricultural market so that they can raise their own cattle and sell them. And it's these days we can keep up with who's doing a good job, because people will post on Yelp and they'll post on Google Places, and they'll say, oh yeah, I bought some meat from this place and it was awful. I got it home and it was already rancid. So nobody's going to wind up buying at places that aren't doing the right thing. But if people are selling meat that's good quality and they're getting a good price for it, they're going to get good comments on it. It's just something we didn't have when we put this monstrosity of a system back in the day in place that allows us to have our cattle, because the way it's set up, it's not benefiting the cattle ranchers either. Sadly, right now, these tariffs aren't really helping, because they're driving up the prices of meat, but it helps the ranchers themselves get a little more money. But the big problem is that the big four meat companies, they're the ones who are making all the profit, and they're not doing hardly any of the work. They just they've got a industry lock on it, because there's no entry for smaller companies that want to get into meat packing. Natural Ginger says RFK is thumbs up. I want him and Trump here in the UK to sort out the mess we're in. I get a lot of that. That's been encouraging, because you wouldn't know it to watch the news over here. Not that I watch the news over here, but I hear reports on what they say on the news over here. Funny thing is, you get a lot of those reports out of Australia and places where they're actually pointing out what's being said on places like The View and ABC News and CNN and MSNBC. I never watch those directly, but I watch other people's commentary on it sometimes. Nancy C says she's never met a carnivore she didn't like. Sell whole cow for direct to home processing. Yeah, that would be nice if people could do that and then process themselves, but there's a lot to learn in that, that's for sure. I don't know if I could handle doing that. I'd like to know that I could process my own animal. Rural farmers by returning tariffs back to their other countries. Okay, Jiffy was saying, just watched a bit of Donald Trump's speech today. It seems like Brooke R will be helping rural farmers by returning the tariffs back to other countries. Well, as long as that keeps the cost down, that's the one thing we can't afford right now, is to see the costs go up. That's because the cattle herds are already at drastically low levels. We got to get that fixed. But I mean, that's not going to get fixed if we don't get people that want to get back into ranching. And if they can't afford to get back into ranching because of all these government regulations that make it impossible, then that's what they got to focus on, is making it possible for people to do this. People who have a love for the land and for raising cattle and doing these kind of things, to get back into doing it. Now, I'm sure there's some larger companies that can do a good job, but for the most part, the ones we've seen haven't done a good job at making sure that things are on the up and up across the board, because they're certainly not taking care of the ranchers. Coach Lisa's here. Oh, there she is. It's good to see you, Coach Lisa. That Coach Lisa. Leisert. I'll just mix your name all together. Yes, we do love our cows. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the questions, since we're not getting a whole lot of questions here today, a good bit of comments. Let's see, was there one? Oh, Nancy C asked, did you eat pasta, Katie?
No, but I did have pizza. And it wasn't just any pizza place. We were in downtown Durham, North Carolina, and there's a restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. I feel bad. But the oven is in the middle of the restaurant. And the menu is all in Italian. So you had to pick which pizza you want. So I got one, and then my friend got one, and we shared. And my favorite was with the lamb meatballs. Oh my gosh, so the bread was really thin. It wasn't thick. It wasn't Pizza Hut bread, I'll tell you that.
And you said they made the bread there, right?
Yeah, it's all made right in front of you. It was very
It's
cool.
just the wheat, though.
Yeah, it was just the wheat. But I was still hungry after 8. That's how many calories I burned. I was starving. I had 3 slices of pizza and I was still hungry. And they weren't big though. They were small. They were about that big. They were little things, but so it was good bread because you could taste it. And then it had thick ricotta cheese on one, and then it had, I think, fresh mozzarella on the other. But they had lamb meatballs on one pizza. Oh man, those were so, I wish I could have just a bowl of the lamb meatballs. They were so tasty. Maybe I could have ordered that, but I was hungry. I wasn't being picky. Saturday night.
Yeah, but you also said it didn't fill you up.
It didn't.
If you'd have gotten lamb meatballs, you probably would have been full.
Maybe, but it was really, if I was going to cheat with something, at least it was something that delicious. You know, it wasn't just McDonald's or anything. I hate McDonald's. I hate Burger King. I hate all that. I can't even eat there. I would rather starve. I'm going on a fast if I have to eat at one of those places.
So you wouldn't even do the patties, huh?
No. Mm-mm.
I know I got to bring my own salt because their salt has dextrose in it.
Mm-mm. I can't eat it.
And their meat just tastes so bland without salt on it.
Mm-mm. I'll fast through that. It was delicious. So yeah, I had pizza.
Well, you live and you learn. Have you interviewed Cabana Chronicles? I think you'd ask different questions than Dave. You'd both do excellent work, just different perspectives. Yes, I did interview. That was Rebecca over in Spain. She had multiple sclerosis, and that was her diagnosis. And her father was a doctor, and somehow I forget how now, but she found the carnivore diet, and she's been able to put all of her symptoms for multiple sclerosis into remission. Jiffy says, I agree with you, Dante. I grew up on a farm in Louisiana where we raised cattle and other livestock. I remember coming home one day from school and my papa sold our cattle. We couldn't compete. Oh, I see. That was the end of it. Somebody's asking a question here. Kyle asked, Dante, you ever say what your favorite cut of cheaper meat is? Skirt steak is mine, but Costco never sells it near me, so I always have to go somewhere else to get it. Well, it depends on how I'm going to cook it. My favorite cut for dehydrated meat, making like my own carnivore chips, is I've round. But I've round a lot of times, like I see it on Publix on sale for $6.99. When I buy my steaks, a lot of time they're on sale for $6.99 or $7.99. So to me, that's not a very cheap deal. Lamb is probably my favorite at Sam's Club because I can get their lamb loin chops for $5.99 a pound. Now there's a lot of weight that's bone in there, but the meat is so succulent and delicious. I mean, it reminds me of the way I used to love to eat chicken wings. So I love lamb loin chops for that, and they're inexpensive, so those are great. Tina Lander asked, Dante, have you been to the Hack Your Health conference before? Can you talk about the experience? Yes, I went Katie and I both went in 2023. We were there in Austin, Texas. And we were supposed to be there in 24, but we had an accident on the way to the airport, so we weren't able to make it. But hey, we made it through it, so that's all that matters. And it actually worked out in a way for the best, because we had a live stream later with Healing Humanity, and I had to kind of step in and carry the live stream for about 30 minutes while they got some audio issues worked out. So that was a blessing in disguise in a way, because it was able to help the program that we were there to support to begin with. And insurance wound up taking care of the car. Not everything, but it, the Lord took care of us. We got what we needed in the end, so that's all that matters. But Hack Your Health was like a trade show for carnivore and keto. You get every product in the world that everybody is always talking about, 90% of which you don't need to do this, but they make life interesting sometimes. Some of the things are kind of cool, like the Keto Mojo was one of the things they were showing there, so you could see how it worked. And
I like that oxygen tank.
Yeah,
it was a inflatable oxygen tank, and we got to sit in it. Well, I did for like 2 minutes. That was nice.
I found out that place, they didn't sell that direct to the public, although there are hyperbaric chambers that you can buy, but they start at like $6,000. Here they're great for people with PTSD. I've actually been longing to be able to try one. But anyway, that was a company in Austin that like would rent time or whatever. You could pay them and you could go and get hyperbaric treatments. And she said that after an hour, or was it a half hour you were in there or something like that?
It was just a couple minutes, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they only allowed you to stay in it for a couple minutes.
But you felt like really refreshed afterward, and that's what a lot of people have said.
I felt awake, alert. I felt like a nice rejuvenation. That's where you jumped into the cold tank.
Yep, that was the first time I got to try a real cold plunge, where it wasn't a cold tub at my house where I filled it up with Florida underground water, which is a lot warmer than a cold plunge would be. I think they had it at like 43 degrees or something like that when I got in there. And man, I was just like, man, this is a ride. This is a tough ride. But I was able to make it through for a couple of minutes, I think it was. But that was fun getting to try it. It was a little strange, stripping down to my shorts in the middle of a auditorium full of strangers, but.
And you said it helped your legs, because that's where Dante used to have severe pain in his legs and his feet.
I was getting some tightness in my legs, and I think I was my body had gotten used to having salt. For the first 2 years, I'd used a lot of salt in all my drinks and things, but I think I didn't need as much. And as I tapered it back a little bit, it's down to about 40% less than what it used to be. And now I don't have those problems anymore. But when I did get into the cold plunge, it made my legs feel better. That they had been sore from walking around at the convention too. So.
Well, you had problems with your legs even before that. Remember your feet?
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Well, that was when I was heavier. I used to complain about that. That's been a while. See, I forget my old life. When I see Facebook memories of pictures of me and Katie together, I'm like, who is that guy with my wife? But getting back to Hack Your Health, this just so you can know what to expect. Like I say, it's a big trade show full of all the vendors. You can try carnivore crisps or snacks or whoever showed up. Not all of them are going to show up at these events, but some of them do. So you get a chance to try some of these things, or you can buy them directly right there on the shelf. But a lot of times they're letting you try things for free. Keto chow and all of that.
We got to try out. Well, I sampled those. You didn't want to touch it. You're like, no, I'm not.
Right. Well, I kind of feel like I don't need all those supplements and little things and tricks to give myself snacks and treats. I'd rather not tempt myself to want those things at all. I just stick with what works as much as I can, and it works a lot better for me. And then the biggest thing about those events, though, is not getting to try all the stuff. It's where they have the meetups and all the speakers come and they talk about their experiences and they talk about their expertise. In a lot of cases, you've got practicing doctors and surgeons who are talking about what they see as far as their patients on a carnivore diet. And you also have health coaches like Lisa Pickard will be at some of these things. And it's very good to get these perspectives. You also get your regular folks like me and Laura Spath that are just sharing our examples and are our stories and trying to encourage our neighbors and friends to do the same things. So it's a great opportunity for fellowship with people of like mind, and you'll learn a lot of things when you're there, because it's like it's the difference in watching a YouTube video and experiencing what's happening in the YouTube video. There is something to be said for the experience that you can't get just watching it on television. There's the logical information translates, but the feel of it all isn't there, and there is a stronger attachment when it's done live. That's why Katie's here to begin with. I mean, for her to be doing live streams with me is, I can't believe it. I can't believe that she's willing to do this and do it every week. And it's a big ask. It's a big ask for her. So I'm thankful she's here and joining us. But that community that you get at those events makes it worth the trip. And Hack Your Health is relatively inexpensive for how long of an event it is, because it's a 3-day event. And I think it's like, what, $2.99 right now for a 3-day pass. So it's $100 a day. And
you don't have to go to everything, right? Wasn't there like...
Well, there's a more expensive package too, but I mean, most of what you can participate in is right there for the basic package. And I don't make anything talking about Hack Your Health, by the way. I just promote this to help the community come together.
Absolutely.
They don't pay me a cent, but they do let me give a coupon discount code that gets you $100 off right now. So if you use my discount code Dante at Hack Your Health, it'll save you $100 off of your tickets to the event. And the event's all the way out in November, so you got some time to plan ahead. But the prices are the lowest that they're going to be between now and then.
Where's
right
that
now.
one at?
In Tampa.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and then we got the one coming up in Yuma, where we're going to be in Yuma, Tennessee, not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Healing Humanity fundraiser event.
Yep.
Thank you, Steve. We love you too, man. We love it. We love all you guys that come and join us and spend time with us here. Michael says, hello from Manitoba, Canada. Dante's videos helped convince me to go carnivore 13 months ago. Best thing I ever did.
Woo!
Awesome, man. God bless you on your continued journey to better health. Steve was in Rockford, Illinois.
Liverwurst is a nice source of liver. I don't think I've ever tried liverwurst.
I don't think I have either.
We're going to have to.
Maybe.
Gonna have to do a liverwurst sample. I'd try it.
What happened to the running? Dale D. Mass. A lot of people asked me about the sprinting that I was doing. And the sprinting videos are still available in the members only area, but I only took them down because I had a problem and I wasn't sure if I wanted to encourage people to keep asking me about it over and over and over. I still encourage sprinting. I just didn't want to encourage new people to come to the channel and say, ooh, that's what Dante's into. Let me ask him about it. Why is he doing that? Because I developed plantar fibromas on both feet. Apparently, a sprinter told me that it rarely happens, but sometimes it can happen with people. They don't know what causes it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sedentary living beforehand that would cause it to be something that would happen. But it's just like having a little golf ball on the bottom of on the arch of your foot, and it was getting uncomfortable. So I figured I was really pushing it hard too. And that's another thing I would recommend for anybody with sprinting is don't push it as hard as I do. I mean, it probably should have been just maybe once or twice a day, not trying to push 3 or 6 sets of however long I could push it for, because I wasn't used to sprinting. But I did get faster, and I enjoyed that fast twitch muscle improvement. And Katie seemed to like how it was affecting my lower half some too.
What, your legs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your legs look really muscular.
Trying to see if they were, I see Kyle Flanders asked about the sprinting too. All right, William Cool asked if I've ever tried the Typher Dome air fryer. I hear good things about it. Would love to see a review of it. I actually have talked about the Typher Dome. I have a Typher Dome, but it was so new at the time to me that I didn't want to give a full overview of what I thought. What I do think about it is that it's a very solidly built. It's by far the heaviest of the air fryers I have, in the sense that it's like a solid piece of manufacturing. It's got a huge tray in it, so I can fit a lot more meat in there as long as it's not too thick. I bought some lamb chops the other day that had the bone that was over 2 inches thick, and I couldn't get them inside of it, so I had to put them in the chef maker. I usually like putting the lamb chops in there because they work perfectly on broil for 10 minutes, which is like the preset for broil mode on the Typherdome. The interesting feature about the Typherdome was that it's supposed to have a self-cleaning feature. Now, I've run the self-cleaning feature a few times, and up until recently was the first time that I finally saw that something came off. And it was a lot like doing the self-cleaning mode on an oven, where it leaves a little bit of residue behind on the tray on the inside. And then I had a hard time scrubbing that off, but it cleaned the fan area off, which was interesting because that's the hardest thing to keep clean over the long run.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's not like a perfect solution. When you look at it, it's not completely clean, but it's cleaner than it was after I started. That's for sure. Do I like it? Yes. I still use the chef maker more than any of the other air fryers, though. It's just the one that cooks it to the temperature right every time. That's what the Typherdome is missing. And you can get exactly what you're looking for with the Typherdome with a wireless temperature thermometer, like the Meter Plus or the Meter version 2. I like the Meter 2 because it's thinner and it goes to a higher temperature than the original Meter Plus. So that would go well with the Typherdome. It's a bit more pricey than some of the other air fryers, but like I say, it's a quality build. So at least you're getting something that's put together well. Also, I think the new Typherdome 2 you went to ceramic. I'm not sure if the first Typherdome was what do you call it, PTFE, but I know some people are particular about it. I personally think that both are about the same, PTFE and ceramic, because they just don't know with ceramic right now. If it was clay pot ceramic material, that'd be one thing, but this is a liquid material that they use for ceramic, and that's not the same thing as like clay pot ceramic,
Right.
you know? It's still a chemical process. So I don't know how safe we can be from these fluorocarbons. They're in everything. They're in us. They're in the soil. They're in the water. They're, good Lord, they are literally everywhere because we're inundated with them, and we have been for a long time, and nobody knows what to think about all this. I was afraid to even get into the subject because it's so ubiquitous. It's like, gosh, this is a battle you could never stop fighting, and I don't know that you'd even make a dent in changing anything. Because even if you moved into the woods and got rid of all your modern comforts, you'd still have PFOAs or whatever would be around you because they're just always there in the environment. So it's a rough one to battle with. Harmon said he's going to meet us in Tennessee. Awesome. Carnivore Brothers will be there. Nancy C said she chewed her way through a bone-in ribeye last night. She was ravenous. Well, I'm trying to see. Just check for any more questions if you want to.
Sure.
And I'm gonna. Oh, there's a super chat. Click up there on that super chat. We got to get to those when they come in.
Okay.
Tech Coach Ralph, $5 from Tech Coach Ralph. Thanks for the helpful information you share on your channel. Well, that was very kind of you, Tech Coach. Appreciate that. And I'm going to see if there's some questions here. Thanks for doing this product comparison. I did a comparison to the Chef Maker and the Tasty air fryer this past week. And for some of you, I know that you're saying that the sound goes out after 7 minutes. I did have a microphone change. I'm using this new microphone and I didn't have it turned on in the beginning of the video. So I'm sorry that I goofed that up, but the sound is there. It's just not playing on certain devices right. And the only device I've been told was the iPhone 16. However, I watched it on my iPhone 16 Pro Max and it played fine. I don't know if it's different because it was the Pro Max or what, but you said it was low and you got an iPhone 16. Pro. You got a Pro. So I don't know if it matters, but you said it was lower.
The video started off good, and then I fast forward to 8 minutes, like you said, and it sounded quieter. But you were talking on the phone, so.
Some people said they couldn't hear it at all, so I would say either just
Excuse
turn the
me.
volume up or try a different device. But I will do another video on these two air fryers because I think they're both great for what they do. I like to be able to show the comparison so people can make an informed decision. But they said I've heard a claim on the Tasty that there is no meat smell in the house after cooking. Did you find that to be true? Also, same question on the Chef Maker. Would love to hear your thoughts. I don't know that I ever smell the meat in the house. It always smells like meat in my house. Because when I went to Ryan's house, our brother-in-law, both of our brother-in-law, because he's married to her sister.
Excuse me.
He told me when I cooked in his air fryer one time, he's like, "Man, you got it smelling like meat all through the house." And I'm like, "And what's wrong with that?" But I mean, if he didn't like it, I started cooking outside. But I didn't know. I don't even notice that. Did you notice if it? I'm sure it did.
What?
Had a meat smell in the house when I was cooking with those two units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you caught a hotel room alarm.
Yeah, well, it sends the smell into there. There's no. I mean, it's cooking.
Dante cooks.
It's cooking the meat under an element, a hot element, is blowing heat directly onto it, and then that heat has one place to go, and there's a little hole in the back of the unit that has vents on it, and that's the smell is blowing into the room. So yeah, you're gonna have the smell of meat in your house, but I've never ever had a problem with that myself. I've never had anybody walk in my house and say, "Ooh, it stinks of meat in here," or anything like that. And we've got some pretty blunt friends, so
yeah. No. We also a lot of times we'll open the kitchen window if we're cooking a lot in one day. Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
Because the alarm will go off.
Yeah, we don't have a vent hood that vents out of the house. It recirculates, so we've got to open the kitchen window if we want to have any venting of any kind anyway. Do you see any more questions come up there?
Barney Boyle, do you think your total daily caloric intake
changed permanently?
Yeah. I've suspected that since people report producing less waste on carnivore, perhaps some of our recommended calories are wasted.
Oh, there's no doubt. Because I could eat a lot more calories before. I mean, I could eat bags of Doritos and, go through a whole sleeve of Fig Newtons before I would, what is it? The comedian said, look what I put on the package for the serving size.
Brian
2
Regan.
cookies. 2 cookies. Who eats 2 cookies, right? So, I mean, I was going through thousands of calories before, and now my calorie intake is probably close to about 2,200. And it says it should be around 3,000, but I would have to really stuff the food in a lot of times to get 3,000 calories.
I'm going to need them on tournament day.
Yeah.
I will say that. I'm going to need a lot on days that I'm pushing through, because I wonder how athletes that do this or people, they must take in a lot. They must, because you're burning so much.
Well, getting more fat's going to get you more of those. You're going to get more. That's what fat is. It's stored energy. I mean, that's what you're looking for.
You need that purse bacon.
Car driving ASMR1 asks, do you eat eggs with bacon on your diet? I eat the egg yolks of my backyard chickens and pasture-raised eggs if I buy them.
I eat all the eggs.
She eats anything eggs. Store-bought, whatever. She doesn't mind. She's just happy to have eggs.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Midnight Madness asks, Dante, are you at your goal weight and health? I am right at it. I was 192 pounds the last time I got on the scale. 189 has been my goal all along. I've actually gone lower than that while I've been on the carnivore diet, but I was also working at UPS graveyard shift during the holidays, and I was getting like 12 hours a day of nonstop heavy work, lifting, throwing boxes. They work you hard over there, but I enjoyed it. That was the amazing thing. I could do it. That was the amazing thing. I mean, the fact that I was able to put my body through that when there was a time that I couldn't even bend over without getting myself up using something to help me up. It was a big change, but I got down to 176. Now, that was a great weight, and I would love to stay that all the time. But my body does like to fight. It likes to keep this area around the midsection. It just doesn't like to get rid of those love handles. It's my father. Even when he tried to lose weight when he was younger, and he was found to be a diabetic in his 50s, he always had this thing right around it, like a little flat tire. It just never would go away. So, but hey, it is what it is. I don't mind. It's I don't need to be Max German or anything like that. I'm just thankful to have 100 pounds not carrying around with me anymore. All right, Steve Marks asked, do you have a support group? I've watched you for a long time and would like to join. Need the support. I actually do. I don't talk about it very much because I've been careful about how I'm building the website. The website has been difficult for me to maintain and keep up, and it's just not something I'm used to doing. I used to do website design back when we used HTML, and now all these templates actually make it harder for me because I feel like I don't have any control over what's going on. But I don't remember how to do HTML, so I really don't want to go back to that either. But maintaining the website's been difficult. But we've had meetings now for about a month where folks have joined regularly, and we have them every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That way, I realized I had to have a meeting time that would allow for folks in Europe to be able to join me. And if I have to do something different for Asia, I'll figure it out. But for right now, I've just got the 2 meeting times on Wednesday, and we get a group together. Right now, the groups consist of 1 or 2 people plus me, so it's been very intimate, and questions are easy to answer because it's just a few of us. But I would love to have more participation in the community, and it's at ferrignofreedom.com. You can go to the membership area, and you can sign up there. The biggest reason for the fact that there's a charge is that these are people talking about very personal issues with each other, and I don't think it should be free to anybody who wants to come in there and harass or cause any problems. And if you don't charge anything, you're going to get people like that are going to come in and cause problems. But yeah, I do have that support group for anybody who wants to join and get direct support from me and or Katie, because she'll be participating. And I plan to have some of the other influencers who come and talk about carnivore to come visit occasionally as well. We're a pretty good group together. Even though we don't all agree on everything, we're very friendly with each other, and we're not really in competition, not trying to beat one another out, but we might not agree with what somebody else said about something, and that's fine. We're allowed to be friends and not agree.
Ron said he asked one, but you might have to go back.
Ron Ayers asked a question. Let me see. Sometimes I'm scrolling through these and I might miss one.
Oh, you might have to ask it again because we can't find it.
Wait.
There he goes.
Okay, just hit my 60-day on carnivore. I'm walking every morning for about 2 miles. Any more advice for this belly fat?
Good job.
Yeah, first of all, good
it.
job. That's a big part of it right there.
Big milestone.
Well, I mean, it's just going to come off, but I mean, the biggest area is going to be probably working that area is going to be helpful. Like Katie told me, if I ever wanted to have those slender abs, I got to do crunches and leg lifts and all that stuff. And I work on range of motion. That's mostly what I want to make sure that I'm capable of lifting my body in a situation, or lifting something off of me, or being able to pick somebody up, to be able to pick up a grandchild if I have one someday. You know, those are the things that I focus on, is having the strength for that. I used to focus on what my body looked like, but it's just a bonus to have just what I have. I mean, the fact that my legs don't rub together anymore, that's been an entire life thing. To have that gone for the first time ever is a miracle enough for me.
So it will come off. Just, if you want to do more exercise and you can do more exercise, go for it. If you feel like you're comfortable right where you're at this pace, stay at the pace.
Les G asks, no magnesium supplement? I actually use Redmond Relight every morning. Instead of coffee, I'll have it with hot water. And sometimes I'll blend the hot water and the Relight with some butter, like bulletproof coffee, but I don't add the coffee. And that gives me a little bit of something creamy to mix with it. The jury's out on butter for me, but for the most part, I've noticed Irish butter has been okay with me. So I do get magnesium. There's magnesium and potassium and sodium and chloride in Redmond Relight. Thank you, Tina. I'm glad you were able to hear it just fine. Thank you, Body by Beef UK. Screw it. Get up and hit the like button. I always forget to ask for those things. So I appreciate you people that do point out those things in the chat like that for me, because I will forget to ask for likes and subscribes and all that. But I will tell you that if you want to support the channel, it's the very least expensive way you could do so is to like, subscribe, share, those type of things. And it gets the word out there. More people hear about it. Carnivore Brother says, just got my blood work, third time since being on carnivore for over 2 years. Cholesterol numbers are perfect, and I eat so much fat. Sodium was perfect, and I eat so much salt. Everything was perfect.
Nice.
I feel you. Yep, Les G was asking about sodium and salt. I'm glad I got to it for you, Les.
I've been taking a magnesium supplement. I've been taking it at night just because my body's so sore after I work out.
But you love it, don't you?
What?
You hate it before you get to it, but afterwards you're like, I'm glad I did it.
The workout?
Yeah.
Oh, that's everything Taekwondo.
Yeah. Well, it's just doing things that take you out of your comfort zone, period. Whatever it is, it's usually better for you if you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, B. Wojo asks here, do you notice your strength in workouts increase over time with this way of eating? They did. Yeah, I got to a peak though in 22, and then I kind of got blown out by doing all that exercise for UPS, and I hurt my knee. And then after that, I had to kind of slow down on some of the exercise. That's what kills you, is when you slow down on it. It's like you lose everything that you'd built up. So you got to stick with it. Consistency is so important. It's so much more important than pounding it out harder and harder. It's just to be consistent with doing what you're doing. If you can do a moderate workout consistently, it's better than doing a heavy workout and being inconsistent with it.
I felt really focused at tournament on Saturday. We do sparring, one-on-one sparring. And since I did carnivore all week long, when I did get to tournament, when it was time to pair up, even though I wasn't feeling good from the allergies, I felt way more focused. I felt like I was in control of my body, and I felt like I was very quick, quicker than I've ever been. So that is because I practice 3 times a week. So, but I was also eating healthier that whole entire week up to that. So I definitely felt sharper, even though I didn't feel good. It felt like a lot clicked on me on tournament day. So that was good. It encourages me to keep going. So
somebody asked me a question about my LDL. Harmon442 said, is your LDL elevated? Mine is at 237 right now, but my C-reactive protein is 0.04. And strangely, my LDL, I guess it's not strange. It's just seems strange to me because so many people tell me theirs is so high. But my LDL, the last time I had it checked, was 70. I don't know if you can see this real clear, but the LDL numbers right there. And it was 70. My triglycerides were 47. My HDL was 69. And my HDL has been in the 80s before. Triglycerides have been in the 30s. So, but my LDL cholesterol back when those were higher, when my triglycerides were lower and my HDL was higher, my LDL was like 110. So those are numbers that I like to see even better. But these are completely normal and excellent numbers. I have no problem with these at all. It's just, it was like the first time I ever saw it after 2 years of eating this way. It was like, man, those are like super numbers. And even my doctor was like, those are live forever numbers. So that was what was awesome. Now the doctor would have put me on a statin if my LDL had been 237, but I would take a look at what some of the other doctors out there, that specifically heart doctors, like Dr. Philip Ovadia, he'll tell you about LDL cholesterol. I plan on doing a video with Dr. Ovadia very soon, because he was reviewing my advanced lipid panel blood work, and he ordered a CAC scan for me. So we're gonna talk about that. Now, the one thing about that's kind of not good is that I'd never had a CAC scan done before I started carnivore diet, so I don't have a starting point. I don't have a reference point to see if it's how much damage I had done before, or if, so that anybody watching it's going to say, oh, well, it's because he was a carnivore, if it has any score that they're not happy with, or they're going to say it was because of what he did before, that if it's the score that's lower than they think. So it's like there's always going to be an argument, but I would rather talk to somebody who actually cuts open bodies and works on hearts and see what he says about it, because he's definitely seen more than I have. How long did it take to start losing weight on carnivore? Within a couple of weeks, I know I had lost some weight. And the first 4 months, my 125 days on lion diet video, I got from, it was around 280, 285, all the way down to below 214. So that was just in 4 months. Now, different people lose weight at different speeds, and there's different reasons for it too, but it was good for me. There have been a handful, and I mean it's the minority, that tell me they don't lose weight on carnivore. And in some of those cases, I suspect it's because they're having too much cheese, which isn't really cheese. A lot of times those are just solidified toppings that are shaped like cheese, and you're getting a lot more carbohydrates than you think. Midnight Madness says, I miss your walk videos. Well, I have them every day that I go on the Facebook, Ferrigno Freedom Facebook group page, which is a private page. So you got to sign up to be on there. And I made it private because people didn't want all their information shared with their friends about the carnivore diet, because they already get enough flack about it from their friends that watch them, let alone the ones that are on Facebook. So you can see all those videos at Ferrigno Freedom Facebook group. I would put them on YouTube, but it messes with the algorithm, and I really do want to make sure we're getting out to as many people as we could possibly get to see this. And the more I post videos that don't get as many views, then it hurts that algorithm setting. I hate to have to play to the algorithm, but it is important if I want to make sure I'm getting the word out there. And that's why we're doing this. I mean, this is the point of us coming and doing this live stream, is to share our experience with the world, and to make it seen what it's like to watch two people, one that's been doing a carnivore diet for a long time, a very strict one like lion diet, and one that's finding her way and getting started on it, and the challenges that we face, mm-hmm. and that we hope that they help you overcome some of your challenges. We got about 2 minutes left here, so I wanted to see if there were any other questions that popped up.
Go back. Oh.
What?
Never mind. Never mind. What kind of martial arts do you do? Sorry if I missed it from earlier. I do Taekwondo. So it's ATA based. It's all over the world. They have each state probably has their own school in their own cities. So, and right now, Katie Ferrigno is currently #1 in weapons form in the state in my rank. Thank you very much. Very proud of that.
#1 in her age class and mm-hmm. demographic. That's awesome. #1. She can't believe it. Now she's ready to go to the next one. When do you want to go down to Miami in a couple of weeks?
I don't want to get knocked off. I don't want to get knocked off #1. I want to stay at #1.
She wants to go defend that title. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, she went from not wanting to participate in these tournaments at all to now she's just like, I'm #1. I love it. So Bill Knott's here with us today. It's good to see you, Bill.
Aww.
Welsh Carnivore asked if it concerns me that some carnivore YouTubers have had strokes or heart attacks, such as Mitch recently. Well, I don't know of anybody other than Mitch, but I know, Mitch had a procedure that he thinks led to that. So there's a little bit more to it than just a random stroke happening. Not to mention, you know, he, like me, had a lifetime of damage to our body beforehand. So it's not like you're going to stop life from happening. We're not going to live forever. And every time somebody dies, you can, or has a major ailment, you can't just say that that's blamed on the carnivore diet, especially when so many of the numbers show that we're getting healthier. So many of our actions show that we're getting healthier, that we're living lives better. And, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to let these things stop you just because people don't live forever. I mean, that's not the goal. It's to live your life the best you can while you're alive.
Diet isn't the only factor in our bodies, but it is a huge factor when it comes to living well daily. So
somebody had asked about weight loss earlier. Sandy says she lost 50 pounds in the first 7 weeks, been carnivore for 5 months.
Awesome. Yes, some people lose it super fast. I haven't been able to stay consistent carnivore for over 2 weeks, and I hope I can. But that's awesome. Congratulations. And you feel so good once you do.
I know Bill Knott's lost a few pounds since he started too. Well, it's 6:01. I guess it's time we got to cut it out because I got to get ready for the next meeting with the folks that we talked about over at Ferrigno Freedom. Hey, it was a pleasure having everybody here today, and I thank you for coming with your questions. I hope you have some good questions for next week, and of course, I can always get questions out of the chat and the comments in the other videos. So if you got a question you want to have read live, you can also put the 3 Qs on there that lets me know you really want to have this question read in a live video like this, and that way you'll get it read. We'll see you guys next time. Let's see, what did it say?
Right up here. Right, go.
Bill says he lost just a couple.
Right here.
What?
Dr. Barry, Donna. I'm sorry, Donna
said Dr. Barry would say that the lifetime of standard American diet was to blame. Yeah, well, I'm sure it is. Anywho, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks for joining us once again. I hope you'll join us again next week. We'll be back for another round with Dante and Katie. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Eat well.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?